Hello and welcome to ET Insight, where we get you a 360-degree view of the big picture in business and economy. I'm Sridhar Ramakrishnan, and here's what we have for you on the show today. India's 20,000 crore rupee microfinance industry is reinventing itself in the wake of the crisis in Andhra Pradesh. Find out who's doing what to survive in the new environment. But this is not the last round of restructuring that the sector will have to go through. Regulations are in for a major overhaul. So how will the rules of the game change? And as banks squeeze lending to the sector, the big question is, who will step in to finance the bottom of the pyramid? Our top story first. 2010-11 will go down as the worst year in the young history of the microfinance industry. It was a year when the country's biggest market for microloans shut down for business and new rules came into place to govern the industry. The MFIs travails were captured by its only listed company, SK's Microfinance, which has lost 90% of its market value this year. Amidst all the soul searching within the industry is the realization that the microfinance model must be reinvented. Swati D'Souza has this report on the MFI's battle for survival.
It took Vikramakula 10 years to build SK's Microfinance from scratch and become the industry's poster boy, and just 1 year to become its fall guy.
I submitted my resignation today at the board meeting from SKS Microfinance.
Akula's meteoric rise and fall is in some sense the story of India's microfinance industry. From almost nothing, the industry built up a loan portfolio of 20,700 crore rupees in just about 3 decades. And then came the big freeze last year when Andhra Pradesh passed an ordinance shutting MFIs down in the state. With money stuck and no further business coming from Andhra, the industry went into a tailspin. Now the writing is on the wall. MFIs must reinvent themselves or risk going out of business.
Microfinance will be the core on the asset side, but we are trying to creatively disturb the correlation between the asset mix, revenue mix and the earning mix. The non-MFI distribution business could be 10% of the asset base, but 20% of the revenue mix, going up to 30% of the earning mix in the years to come.
MFIs are saddled with huge NPAs because of complete halt in business in Andhra, which accounted for nearly 30% of the loan portfolio last year. According to the State of a Sector report, more than 7,000 crore rupees of loans in Andhra are effectively in default. But MFIs are treating these loans as overdue loans and just making incremental provisions for loans that are NPAs. The recoveries arising out of these loans too are a minuscule 10%, barely covering operating costs. And lending banks have had to bear the brunt of this fallout and offer debt restructuring packages of more than 7,000 crore rupees to 5 MFIs, including Spandana, Share Microfinance, Asmita, Trident and Future Financial. While SKS and Basics did not avail this facility, it's clear that the problem will last longer than anticipated.
Many of the MFIs are also facing non-performing assets from if they had Andhra portfolio, or they are facing a severely reduced portfolio because of the fact that banks haven't lent any money for the last 15 months. Just recovering from that will take a whole year or more for those who don't even have the Andhra impaired portfolio. And then to get back to a growth trajectory will take another year or two.
That's a long waiting period, and one which will be marked by high costs, low profitability and low growth. Picture this. The average per capita loan size has declined from 6,870 rupees last year to 6,610 rupees this year. The catch though is that smaller the loan, the higher the price to deliver it. For instance, for a loan amount of 2,000 rupees, an Indian MFI typically spends about 25% of the total expense as operating costs, versus a paltry 7% in the case of a loan amount of 20,000 rupees, with the profits remaining the same.
How do these different bands of credit, where you say, okay, if you're now funding small medium enterprise versus the microcredit up to 50,000, when people move from one to the next, how do you integrate? And I think that's going to be a challenge.
From operational efficiency to improving the health balance sheets. And here the devil quite literally lies in the borrowing costs and profitability. Currently, MFI lending rates are capped at 26%, of which 14 to 16% are financial costs and 7 to 10% are operating costs. This means that margins are wafer thin. A profitability analysis on 54 MFIs revealed that only 2 MFIs have posted return on assets in excess of 6%. 29 MFIs generated ROA of 0 to 2% and 9 posted negative return on assets. Only 2 MFIs posted a return on equity of over 50%. 23 posted ROE of less than 10% and 12 posted negative returns on equity. With margins for large NBFC MFIs capped at 6% by the RBI, it is necessary to rework the product mix in favor of larger sized loans with longer tenures. That will help reduce costs and retain customers. But the change in product mix is not going to be easy.
The cost of funds have been increasing over the last about 1 year continuously. MFIs are paying anything from 3 to 4.5% more on the borrowings from banks. On the other side, the cost of operations, because of shrinkage in volumes of business and also the introduction of new customer protection practices, they have been going up.
To beat these blues, MFIs are actively looking for new revenue streams and reworking their product portfolios. For instance, market leader SKS is now planning on selling mobile phone, tying up with kirana walas and getting into gold loans. Several others are getting into remittances, asset financing like loans for affordable homes and commercial vehicle financing. MFIs are also not depending on their own businesses to boost profits. They are also looking at distributing third-party products like bulk loans from banks, insurance policies and pension schemes, and are acting as last-mile vendors for several health, hygiene and sanitation products like water filters. Selling financial products help them earn commissions of 2 to 5% and vending products can help fetch commissions as high as 10%.
Many microfinance institutions are starting to see the need for a new set of products and services, and that's where they are trying to learn more about their clients, about what are the different segments of clients and how should they approach them. And we will probably see a better development and a better product mix being delivered to the poor.
We are thinking of introducing micro enterprise loans, business loans, personal loans, gold loans, so that we will be able to address the needs of the people. Apart from that, we are also looking into certain services such as distribution of Aadhaar cards, pension services, where we will be able to have a relationship with Life Insurance Corporation of India and provide these distribution services. So by doing this, we will be able to add up fresh products and services so that we will be able to diversify the product range.
But this spate of innovation and restructuring may not be enough. Experts say that this obsession with low cost is making these MFIs insensitive to the real needs of the poor customer, and she could be saddled with products and services that she does not require. That's why there's a severe need to have a level playing field between non-profit and for-profit MFIs, and that's where the Microfinance Bill comes in.
So what are the changes that this bill is proposing to make, and how ready is the sector for a change? That's coming up in just a bit. Stay with us.